All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here for the Town Council Candidate Forum. My name is Amelia Stansel. I am the Greater Warrenton Chamber of Commerce Legislative Committee Chair for 2016. I think about what year it is, and I'm no longer president. For those who don't know me, that's a good thing. All right, so first I want to say welcome to everyone. I want to thank our committee members, for the committee members that are here. Bob Rust, saw you a minute ago, waving in the back. With Whitehorse Auto Wash, Cheryl Kinsey from Interior Elegance. Eloquence. It even says that. Brian Roeder with Barrel Oak Winery. Dennis Taylor with Paradigm Solutions. And Michelle Coe with Blue Sky Phoenix. Michelle will be back. Want to also welcome the various board members that are in the room. If board members want to wave real quick. Any past chairs in the room that want to wave? Past presidents? Tony in the back there. Next, I'd like to thank our sponsor, that's our financial sponsor tonight, who provided food and beverages. Sarah Yackel from Leadership Fauquier.
Thank you. As recognizing the importance of really prepared and informed leaders and citizens, Leadership Fauquier is really excited to be the sponsor of today's candidate forum. For those of you who don't know what Leadership Fauquier is, we're actually a program, a community leadership program that's designed to really explore how public, private, and nonprofit areas come together here in our community to really make Fauquier sing. And our mission is really to equip, connect, and engage leaders in our community. Our 10-month program started in September of 2015, and we're about ready to graduate our first class in June of 2016. And we have spent the past 10 months as a class going around our community learning about all different areas of our community, such as local government, public safety, public education, arts, tourism, economic development. And I will say, after being through the program as a class member, I have to really appreciate the gentleman sitting behind us, because this community is a wonderful community, but making it run is very difficult and complicated, and there's a lot of nuance to it, so I really appreciate their willingness to serve our community in this manner. One final note about Leadership Fauquier is, as I said, we're graduating our first class in June of 2016, so we've now opened applications for our 2017 graduating class. So if anyone in the room is interested in getting more involved in our community and learning exactly how Fauquier operates and what makes this county tick and what makes it so beautiful, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I do have to take off a little early, so I'm going to actually point to Scott here, and Scott's in the class with me. If y'all have any other questions, I'm sure Scott can actually help too. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Sarah. While we wait for Lou to come back, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the evening, how this is going to work, as well as have our candidates do our introductions. We invited the candidates to take part in a survey that was conducted by the Legislative Committee. The results are on the warrentonchamber.org website, also on the bottom of your agenda, which is the little half page, has the link to it as well that links back to the event today. There's also copies that are printed over here. There's an additional set of copies that is coming. One of the candidates' responses got in a little bit later than what we were planning on, so those are on their way right now. Ground rules for this evening. We're going to get started with each of the candidates taking 3 minutes to introduce themselves. Then Mr. Emerson will ask each question, giving each candidate the opportunity, the Ward 3 candidates the opportunity to respond first, and then after that, the other candidates representing the other wards can then respond. Responses will be kept to 3 minutes each, with a total of 10 minutes per issue. Speakers will have a 30-second warning from me. So pay attention. I won't cut you off. A 30-second warning from me before they get cut off, and I will be the acting timekeeper. Mr. Emerson had the sole discretion over the topics that we're going to cover this evening. It was not something that the committee put together. We wanted to keep that completely unbiased and fair. And finally, we've allowed 30 minutes at the end of today's forum for a final meet and greet for to follow up individually with your ward representatives with any remaining questions or concerns that may arise out of today's commentary or something that you came with already. So let's get on with the evening. We're going to start first with our introductions. We're going to start at this end with Ward 1 and work our way down to Ward 5. And they do have a mic that will be passed amongst themselves, and then we'll get going from there. Thank you. Yeah, you may want to stand.
Thank you for being here, and thank the Chamber and everyone involved in this for procedure. I'm sorry I didn't answer the questionnaire, but unfortunately I was under the influence of having some surgery done and still having a few problems. But a little bit about my history in case people don't know. I came to Warrenton. I was a pharmacist. I graduated from Medical College of Virginia. I was served in the state legislature from 91 to 93. Carried bills like the horse racing bill, carried bills that meant that the agricultural lab ended up staying in Warrenton, not going to Harrisonburg, and a number of other bills. Been involved in a lot of community service. Founded the Boys and Girls Club in 1997. Was president of that for a number of years. Founded another club that I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden. But anyway, I founded that, and we been involved in all kinds of civic duties and very interested in the community. Made my living on Main Street in the situation as a pharmacist. Believed in working with merchants. One of the biggest problems we have today is uptown, and the problems we didn't have 15, 20 years ago, where we had 3 drugstores, 3 hardware stores, a number of clothing stores, things to bring people uptown. Let's see what else I see that the problems on Main Street sometimes are the problems with marketing, maybe signage, training the people how to be all for a person trying to do their whole thing I'm sorry, there's that whole interview of projects like being the pharmacist, being the publicity, doing meeting the people, all of the different things, and whereas out on the bypass, those people have specialized people that do this. Goodbye. See, we couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you with you standing going this way.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
20 seconds.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate, I have no opposition, came on council because I believe I need to help people, I want to help people. That people have been good to me over the years, gave my family and myself a livelihood, and the least that I can do is come back and serve my community and do what you and the people want me to do. Thank you.
Good time.
That call was very appropriate. Good timing, whether it was a coincidence or not. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you to the balance of the Greater Warrenton Chamber of Commerce. I don't know what's going on over here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can usually be heard anyway, but and thank you again, Leadership Falk, here for being here and providing refreshments before and after. My name is Alec Burnett. I'm a resident of Ward 2 currently, living on Alexandria Pike. I grew up in New Baltimore, Broad Run on Route 600 in Fair Gap. Traveled Alexandria Pike as a child on my way to Boxwood School and Highland School as a kid, and I find it kind of ironic that I'm actually living on the street in a house that I drove by, for I won't say how long, but quite a long time. Many times coming up to Jerry's Pharmacy as a child. Warrenton has been an enormous part of not just my family, or not myself, but my parents, my brother. We moved to Warrenton, Fauquier County back in the mid-'60s. Yes, I traveled outside of Warrenton a lot of my development years to learn from other areas of the world, other areas of the country, always knowing that inside of me I would return to Warrenton and I wanted to raise my family here in Warrenton. Back in 2010, I was afforded that opportunity. I currently work for Hilton Hotels Corporation that relocated their Western Coast offices to the Tysons Corner area. When they made that announcement in Los Angeles to about 500 people, I was the one person in the back that was going woo-hoo, while the rest of their jaws were dropping. So I was delighted to come back to Warrenton. It was an opportunity for me to fulfill a dream that I had always had. Since being back, I've tried to remain as civically active as possible, not just for myself, but equally my children. I think it's very important for us to foster a sense of stewardship and community service and giving back to our children and the next generation. In fact, my daughter and I help out volunteer Gumdrop Square here in the John Martin Payne Building, the Salvation Army, and a number of other civic organizations. I'm back with Hilton. Some of you might know I was with the Fauquier Springs Country Club for a couple of years. And during that time, I was delighted to connect and re-engage with a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long, long time. And at that time, too, we also implemented not just a lot of things about the club itself from a business perspective, but equally that sense of stewardship, that opportunity to give back to the community, because we all share in the same community, and I think it's important for us to give back where we can. Why am I running? Again, I kind of said it. Thank you, Dr. Paul, Amelia. I said it in the sense that Warrenton, Fauquier County, this entire community has given me and my family so much for so many years. I figured this was a great opportunity for me to give back, and additionally to teach my children, even more so than my wife and I have done to this point, the importance of community, fellowship, stewardship, and the longevity of the life we are so fortunate to live here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Henson, and I'm a resident of Ward 3. My wife and I have lived in the town since 1996. I'd like to thank the Warrenton Chamber for agreeing, and the sponsors for agreeing to set this up and host it. I'd like to thank Lou for agreeing to moderate the session today. I'd particularly like to thank everybody sitting at this table who has made a dedication of their time and effort and energy to try to make Warrenton a better place. I'd like to take the time that I have in my introduction to tell you a little bit about what I think distinguishes me from from Mr. Hamby, from my opponent in the Ward 3 race. Elections are about choices, and I think if we want people to make the right choices, we need to tell them how we distinguish ourselves from each other. Three things. Like many of you in this room, I'm a business owner, and I get a lot of strange looks when I say that out on the campaign trail. You don't have a business. I have employees. I have leases. We lease office space. I pay poll taxes just like all the businesses here in the town. I think that fact gives me a perspective that is important for the other business owners in town. As a business owner, I think I can be a strong advocate for the other businesses in the town. Second thing is I'm a physician. To my knowledge, and I've asked people who've been in Warrenton for 70 or 80 years, I don't think there's ever been a healthcare person, let alone a physician, on the town council. Why is that important? I think I can bring a different perspective to town government. Healthcare initiatives and healthy communities and active lifestyles are becoming a much bigger part of not just the medical profession and what we talk about at national meetings, but also in town planning and governmental planning. So I'll bring that set of tools to the table, which I think is a little bit unique. The third thing is I'm a father. I have two children who are school age that live here, that go to schools here in town, and I think that perspective of how can we provide more recreational and leisure time activities for socialization for especially the tweens and teen years, and my focus is going to be on what can we do.
It's really effective. I tell you, it's really
First, I'd like to thank the Greater Warrenton Chamber, their sponsors, of course, Lou for moderating this event. I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, including my family and friends. For those of you